Co-chairs are Kate Parmer and Eileen Copelands.
Okay, so when I thought about, and Kate and Meg did as well, how to present to you tonight, we thought, well, we had so much going in 2019, 2020. So we want to share with you what we did. And then we'll talk about what we've been doing, which works a little bit differently. And I'll explain why. And then finally, what my co-chair and the future co-chair hope to do in the coming year, because I'll be stepping down from the co-chairmanship. So I'll start with what we have done. If we could go to the next slide. Okay, how we spent our 2020. We were very fortunate because it was such a contentious election and so much on everybody's minds that students were literally beating down the doors to join the Youth Empowerment Committee. And as a result, we really did gain some wonderful, wonderful young people who work with us on a variety of projects. One of the things we did, of course, was voter registration training, the idea being that students could run their own voter registration drives in their schools. And one of the people who was very helpful with that was Jenny Avena, because she had created a terrific PowerPoint that she was able to share with students to help them learn how to do a voter registration drive. Our students were very much involved in social media. And I learned a lot because this is kind of not my generation, but the kids were given the ability to start their own website. So they set up a student Instagram website, which was kind of controlled by a platform that Instagram offers called Later, so that Kate and I could review what the kids were posting, but they did the work themselves. And they posted a number of different kinds of things. They posted about upcoming activities, candidate forums, and the 101 Days of Action. They did quite a few posts on that. And they also did some public service posting, like reminding people to wear masks. That was one of their posts. And I think they really did very well with that. The candidate forums were exciting because the couple of the kids themselves actually participated in the forums under Kate's direction and her training. And she, if you have any questions later, she can tell us a few more details about that. But she did work with, I think it was 2 or 3 students who then participated in the mayoral forum and actually got to ask questions. And they participated in 1 or 2 other forums as well. And they were very, very excited about the 101 Days of Action. So those were the things that we did with students. And as I say, we had a lot of student participation, which was really exciting. Okay, the other thing was that year, the 2019-2020, was the centennial celebration. And I wanted very much for the Youth Empowerment Committee to have its own role, its own area within the centennial celebration. So I wrote a play called They Were Here Before Us. It was intended to be performed live, but something got in the way and we weren't able to do that. But we very fortunately met a young woman who is skilled in communications and video creation. She is the goddaughter of one of our members, and she was able to film and put the play on video for us. We did it before a number of groups. We had 3 or 4 students who took part in the play, which was wonderful. And we didn't need to do a lot of rehearsals. The other Kate, who is the video person, filmed each one of our students, put the whole thing together into a video. And we showed that video at at the League, at Osher, at the Women's Museum. I sent it out to a number of people in different leagues in the country who said they used it. I sent it to league members whom I know on the East Coast. So it got quite a showing. It was very exciting. The Youth Empowerment Committee worked on editing the play and also put together a toolkit of material that was meant for teachers. And when we sent out the flyer that embedded the play script and the toolkit, it was all in one sheet, and those people who wanted to use it could do as much with it as they wanted to. We started out live, as I said, and another fortunate connection was with the executive director of the Moxie Theater. And she put me in touch with a producer director named Kimberly King. Kimberly put together her own cast and did a kind of preview of the play, and we performed that at the Moxie before it ever became a video. So that was pretty exciting. And that, I think, is most of what we did last year. If Kate can think of other things, we'll add to it later. But meanwhile, Kate, you're going to talk about what we're doing now.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Eileen. And actually, with coming in at the mark with amazing timing, Meg actually just showed up.
Oh,
hi everyone. I'm so sorry. Work schedule got a little crazy, but I'm so excited to share with you all what we're doing right now with Youth Empowerment Committee. So earlier this year, we collaborated with March for Our Lives San Diego, which is a really incredible student and youth run organization all over the country that works to combat gun violence. And so we collaborated with them on a vigil commemorating the lives lost to gun violence in the country and also in San Diego, specifically in the year 2020. So that was a really stirring, emotional evening, but we were so glad to be able to collaborate with them and to bring that message to the larger community. Currently, Eileen, Kate, and I are working with one of our members, Maya Jimenez, to prepare a 3-part civics series for students at High Tech High Point Loma. We're going to be going over the voting process, the Constitution, the branches of government, to help these students kind of understand some of the fundamental concepts at play in politics today and help them make sense of what's going on around us. And the series specifically is looking at kind of US politics in the wake of January 6th, and what do we need to understand to piece together what led up to that event, and what can we do to make democracy work moving forward. So that is beginning next week, and we're very excited. And then every month we have our committee meetings. The timing has been a little flexible, figuring out what works best for our members as we shift school schedules and move into new trimesters, and as some of our seniors go through the college application process. But currently we're meeting the first Thursday of each month at 5:30. And we would be super excited to welcome any new members, fresh voices, fresh ideas, fresh Instagram content, whatever you have, we would love to share it with you. So that's some of what we're doing right now.
Okay, thank you, Meg. And I'm going to talk about our plans for the future. Last year was a pretty big year for us, as we all remember. It seems like ancient history in some capacity, but in other ways it feels like it was yesterday. But last fall, we were very, very active getting out the vote as much as possible. So with that being said, we did take a somewhat small step back. However, to Meg's point, we're still more active than I would have imagined us being right now. I thought that we were going to have maybe a quarter off where we weren't doing very much, but shows what I know. So going forward, what we really want to do is double down our efforts on everything that we've been doing and continue to learn and do better, which is recruiting new students. We're always looking for anyone really on the Youth Empowerment Committee. We have committee members of all ages. However, we do like to get that youth voice there. And so if anyone does have any children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews who might be interested, we are always recruiting new students. We are certainly trying to sign up as many young people to vote as possible. And so we are really going all out on our voter registration drives. And this third one is, I would say, is a little bit newer and kind of speaks to some of our more recent work, which is really educating our new and potential young voters. So we've been involved obviously in the larger league activities, which has, half of our mission really is around educating voters. But recently we've been able to have a couple of opportunities where we can really hone in, like the High Tech High speaker or series that we're doing right now, and really getting our message more attuned to speaking to a student population. And so we're really hoping to continue those efforts and be able to educate our young people as much as possible on the voting process and becoming responsible voters. So with that said, thank you all very much. And I think Eileen, Meg, and myself would be happy to answer any questions any of you have. And my apologies for the noise in the background. I think my neighbor is chopping wood.
Chopping wood. It's so great to hear from all of you, and particularly Meg. It's so good to hear your voice. I know we did some work together prior to the election, as Kate was saying, and we all just kind of pulled together and worked really hard on a lot of our work during that time, particularly with our 101 Days of Action campaign. So I wanted to also acknowledge that Meg's contribution in that respect, because she's just a jack of all trades, and she really stepped up and helped us pull together the graphics on that and some of the other outreach we did during the campaign for that our league produced for 101 days, every single day prior to the election. So I wanted to say that about Meg as well. So you guys are doing some great work, and I really appreciate everything that you've done. I'm sorry that you haven't taken a break. I know how you feel. I want a break too. And I think starting July 1st, we're going to revert to our league's original schedule per Kim Knox, who has decided that we're going to take July and August off, and perhaps December as well, which is what the league used to do back in the days before I was president and I worked everybody too hard. So anyway, yeah, anybody else have any questions or comments about the Youth Empowerment Committee? Yeah, Dana?
Yeah, Dana?
Yeah, Kate and Megan, is it Eileen, yeah. Hey, thanks for your presentation. I'm new to the league, so I was new to this committee. So thank you for the presentation. And I was excited to hear about the civic lessons, because I think that's so important. So, going to High Tech High, and so keep up the good work there, because I think that's really missing from the discussion is the basic civics. So that's great. Thanks.
Thank you. I would certainly agree that it's a gap that needs to be filled. And if anybody knows of civics teachers or social studies teachers in general who would be interested, I mean, once we have this down and we have it as a PowerPoint, which is what we're developing, we can do it again. It shouldn't really be a one-off, and I hope that there will be other schools that invite us to do this presentation. As Kate was saying, the first part of it is going to be on basically the structure of government, and the second part on voting, and the third part will be a kind of open Q&A session, so the kids can come back to us and ask us questions on things that we didn't bring up, or to clarify things that we did bring up. So I think it'll work out well.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Yeah, it's a great way to maybe recruit some members too.
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever we go, we take membership forms with us, no question.
Thanks.
One of the things I really appreciate about this series is that the idea was brought to us from one of our student members, from Maya, which I think is awesome, that she had recognized within her school community that this was something that students were interested in, but they didn't have necessarily the understanding or the vocabulary to talk about it. So I agree that this is something that even the students themselves are passionate about and recognizing is missing. So it would be really exciting if we were able to replicate this in other schools.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't mention is that I think that one of our goals is to develop leadership among the students. So Maya is a perfect example. She's now a senior in high school, and she'll probably go out of town to college. And, you know, that's one of the sad things in a way of having the Youth Empowerment Committee. The kids do age out and leave us, but just watching somebody take over and lead a meeting, lead a discussion, bring in an idea like the one for this, what we're calling Civics 101. It's very gratifying, it really is.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for your interest, and thanks to the Youth Empowerment Committee for your great work and the presentation that outlined some of the things that you've done. I know you've done even more than you mentioned here tonight, but it was a really nice overview. So thanks for your time tonight and for your presentation, and we look forward to seeing everybody again very soon.